Graffiti vandals can be hard to catch.
It's a huge problem.
All-out war on graffiti.
2 out of every 3 cans were stolen out of your typical neighborhood store.
And what happens to the kids convicted of graffiti offenses?
Crime scene colon, these cold streets you patrol on. Try to get a hold on, kids strapped with growl on.
Vandals born on my kid. Chase, rated, but mostly getting shit painted.
Someone wants us, either step up, run up, or shut up.
LA is the gallery, the streets of New York is the gallery, the streets of Chicago is the gallery. You can go to some places in LA where there's railroad tracks and crazy ass walls, you're gonna see that art for free. You might pay for being in the wrong place.
Yo, you tuning in to Eyesore Radio. Yo, on today's episode, hey, yo, guest, state your name, where you from?
What's up? This is 160er from that infamous Los Angeles down as fuck crew, DAF. You already know, baby.
What's up, bro? How are you, man?
Just chilling, man. You know, living life, you know, one day at a time.
That's right, bro. Great to have you here, bro. Pleasure to have you here, bro. We're grateful, bro, for your presence, man. Your time, bro. We in here, dog. Yo, bro. 160er, bro. How'd you come up with that name, bro?
Without giving out too much information, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of graffiti and like the history of graffiti, and so there was this like this time where it was like I had to learn more, you know, like when you get that bite of like, you know, your first like hit of some good weed or something, you want more, and or your first taste of beer, you want to get, you know, you want to get different beers or whatever. So I started learning like graffiti history, whatever. So I ran into like this little it was like magazines, but it was like also like I had videos, right? And I would buy videos, like VHS videos, and I would you know, I would see them interview people while they're bombing, whatever, right? And I noticed that some of the writers had like the same numbers, right? So it would be you know, whatever name, and it would be like 80, 65 or whatever, right? And I'll be like, they all have the same number. So I kind of looked into it, and turns out that like they used to like they used to have this thing. I don't know if it was just maybe that one moment that I saw it, I happened to see it, where these fools they would all write the same number because they were from the same street, you know. So where I come from, the area that I live in, all the numbers of the streets are from, you know, 160 all the way to 169, right? So I said, you know, I remember at one time I had changed my name from another name I used to write, or word or whatever. And I said, I'm going to change it to something different. Like, I know somebody's not going to, like, is going to copy me, is going to even, you know, like, even think of this. So I just said, you know, the neighborhood I lived in was the 160s. So I said, I'm going to write 160-er, you know, or 160. And then I just added the you know, and that's kind of how that came about, you know. But, you know, it kind of stuck with me. It grew on me, even though I have, you know, I hate it sometimes. You know, a lot of writers, they hate their name, you know, but I you know, I deep down is like a love and hate relationship with my name, you know. So that's kind of where it comes from, you know.
That's what's up, bro. Aside from like the street art, bro, did you grow up like drawing and, you know, like polishing the drawing skills?
Not at all. I thought it was dope, you know. I'd see other people or whatever, you know, but I just like to tag, you know. Like once I realized what I was doing was tagging, then it was like it was on, you know. Not to say that I did it a lot, but, you know, I did it to the point where I thought like, oh, so this is what it is, you know. And then like seeing other writers, you know, like it was just about tagging and just, you know, catching spots, and that was it, you know.
You remember the feeling you got, bro, when you first caught a spot?
Yeah, I was scared, you know. I think I must have been like I don't know, like 14, whatever. And I kept thinking everybody's looking at me, you know. So it was one of those things. And then it's always like I don't know, maybe I guess other writers could relate to me, but it was always like the wrong marker on the wrong surface, and it comes out crappy, you know, like you had a pilot and you write on like a rough edge, and it, you know, so that's kind of what it was, you know, and that's the first kind of memory that I remember of like catching a spot, you know.
How was it like where you grew up? Was it like predominantly gangster, or was there like a big graffiti scene?
It was a mixture. I moved around a lot, so, but it was a mixture because like in my teens, that's kind of where I was taken back to, like your teenage years, you know, high school age or whatever. And it was always, to me, it was always like there was gangs, and then there was like tag banging crews, and then it was like real graffiti crews, and then it was like everybody else, you know what I mean? But I always thought that it was just, that's the way it is, like, you know, it was a mixture of everything, you know, a lot of hoods and a lot of taggers, you know.
Was DAF your first crew?
I mean, I had like maybe like one crew before DAF, but it was like me and like my cousins, like we just came up with a name and we would hit it up. And then when I was in high school, I was actually in continuation school, if you guys know what that is, you know. But that's when my homie hit me up like, hey, just roll with us, because he seen me up with my cousins and them with that other crew, you know. And then he's like, hey, dog, I seen you up in Huntington Park or whatever. And I'm like, oh, shit, that's crazy, you know. I thought I was fucking, you know, I thought it was dope, you know. And then he's like, well, what's up? We'll just get into DAF, you know. And that's how that went, you know.
How did, like, the gangs receive you guys?
I mean, I think that, I don't know. In regards to that, dog, it's kind of like one of those, like in the area that you live in, you have, like, a mixture of, like, the real gangsters. They don't care about what you do, you know. They're focused on making money and gang banging, right? Like, they're enemies, right? But I think there's a lot of, like, I don't know, like gangsters that are kind of like, you know, they don't have nothing else going on, you know. They hate on you for being the way, like, you get up, or you're just a writer, you're not from their hood or whatever, and they kind of bring static, like they bring drama to, like, I don't know, like your crew or yourself, right? And then there's other homies that maybe they were writers at one point and they started gangbanging, or, you know, they got into a neighborhood and they carry that love that they have for you into that hood, whereas they speak up for you if anything happens, like, oh, you know, those fools are my homies or whatever. So, and it goes the opposite way too. Like, there's fools that were writers that maybe we didn't let them into the crew, maybe we just didn't fuck with them like that, and these fools got into a neighborhood and they took that little hatred towards us into that, and then they just they would slash us and put their hood, you know, and like intimidation, you know. So we had like little issues with like neighborhoods. We probably still do. I don't really care, you know. I'm an old man, you know what I mean? Like, so, but I hate that it's like 2025 and these fools are still bringing fucking drama. Like, it's like, bro, like, worry about your grandkids, bro. You know what the fuck are you still beefing it with us, dog? Like, you know. So I think that, you know, it's a mixture of both. You get love and you get a little bit of hate, you know.
What would you say, bro, was like the toughest part about, you know, being an artist, bro, and growing up in the neighborhood?
I don't know. I think that what it is just that as a writer, you kind of want to be known, but you don't want to be known, you know, or you want to be known to the right people, but then unfortunately sometimes the wrong people know who you are, right? So, for example, myself, I had a lot of homies, you know, like from the crew and just like other crews and just homies, whatever, right? They didn't even write. They would just kick it, right? And then, like, I didn't think at the moment of, like, who they talk to, like, who they share information with. So, like, for example, if I drive a particular car and these fools, oh, yeah, they know I drive that car, and then they happen to share that information to somebody else that probably doesn't like me, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's 160er's car, or that's 160er's house. And then, lo and behold, these fools are outside my house, or they're tagging on my curb, you know, and that's kind of like the bad side of it. The good side is because, well, they know, like, oh, those fools are just writers, like, they're not from no neighborhood, they're not, so that's kind of like the good side of it, you know, where I always look like this, dog. Like, even if I'm not from that neighborhood, I live in that neighborhood. So a lot of the shit that happens in that neighborhood, it affects me too. Like, you know, if my neighbor's house gets broken into, you know, or they break into his car or her car, whatever, like that shit affects me. Like, it's my neighborhood too, you know, like aside from like the neighbor, like the gang shit, you know. So I don't know. There's good things about it and there's bad things, you know. So I feel like if I want to get recognized, but just not by the wrong people, you know what I mean?
When you're out there creating, bro, would you say you're pretty like tough on yourself, bro? Like as far as like being a tough critic on your own work?
Yeah, I think so. I think the creating part is kind of like maybe not applying to me because I just do whatever I feel like right then and there. Like, I won't go with a set plan. I just, whatever comes out, you know, like people that painted with me, like from my crew or from other crews, like I'm feeding off of them, dog, you know. Sometimes I'm like, I see what they're doing, like, oh, this was going big, or this was fucking, oh, you're adding another color, you know. So it's kind of one of those things, you know. And even like the I'll tell you like an incident, like recently, I was already gonna bounce, you know, because I was already not feeling it. And I just see my boy just said, fuck it, let's hit it. And I seen him walk up to it. And I said, fuck it, let's go, let's hit it, fool, you know? Like, if he wouldn't have done that shit, I probably would have left this shit, and that's one less spot that I would have caught, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, you know, I don't know, I just go in with whatever the vibe is, you know?
What would you say, bro, is like, yeah, you dislike about the art scene, bro?
I think just like the egos, that's number one. I think is the egos. I think the like the hating on each other. Like, if you're a fan of, like, I get it, fool, like you write what you write, you're from this crew, whatever, that's cool. It's beautiful, bro. You got love for that shit, it's cool. But I think that on top of all that shit, you gotta be a fan of graffiti first, you know? You gotta be a fan of that shit, because even if that motherfucker's like somebody that you don't fuck with, but he's dope, you gotta bow down and you say, yeah, that fool's dope, dog, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about him, but he's dope as fuck, you know? And I think that that's what the bad part about graffiti, you know, that it's one of those, like, I don't know, dog, there's a lot of chismes, there's a lot of gossip, you know? That's another thing, dog, like egos, you know? Like, fools think like they're doper than they are, dog, and, you know, I feel like if that's the bad part about it, dog.
You know, talking about like these bad parts like egos and gossip, was that around back then, or would you say that's like a current problem now?
I think it's a more current problem than we had before. I think before we didn't have social media, bro. So, you know, our social media was literally like meeting up in person, black books. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was our social. That's how we communicated, you know? Walls, you know? But I think that there's a lot of like issues right now because of social media, dog. Like, everybody wants to be hard on Instagram, on TikTok, you know? They're tough, you know? They're the toughest guys out there. And then you see them and they're like, my bad, bro. And I always think like, bro, you shouldn't even have done that shit, bro. Like, you know, why? And then, you know, if you know that you're a fucking alcoholic, you have a drug problem, don't jump on Instagram and talk shit, bro. Or don't comment on people's shit. That's another thing that I have right now, dog, that these little comments, dog, like, I could run through people's Instagrams and I'll see their shit, and whatever I think about them, that's my opinion. Why do I feel I'm entitled to go in the comment section and put a little trash can or put a fucking, oh, these fools are better? Like, why do I feel that shit? Like, I don't give a fuck, dog. Like, whatever you guys do, I'm just gonna scroll past it, dog. It's not my fucking priority for me to comment on it, you know? So I think that that's the problems we have now. You know, social media is good, but it's also bad, you know, like I've said before, you know?
What do you have to say about who's upset over like their spots getting capped? Or like, you know, people going over like their throwies and stuff with like rollers?
It sucks, man. It sucks for you. You should have just done it bigger, bro. You know what I mean? From the gate. If you saw that spot, I think you should have just thought what we thought and said, that shit needs a big boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? I think that it's a free-for-all out here in these streets. We don't live in fucking Podunk, Ohio, where you got mad spots to rock, dog. Out here, we're all scratching. And shout out to the fools that they have the eye for spots, dog. Cause I wish I could be like you, dog. Like you fools could you guys have like this fucking radar or scanner or some shit in your mind, dog. Cause y'all motherfuckers will make up spots, dog, and I love that shit. For all of us, I mean, people like me, I guess, shit, we do what we can, dog, and, you know, thank God that, you know, we have the means, whether we fucking rack shit or we fucking get discounts, you know, shout out to my paisa homies that paint, because they hook it up fat, and we do what we do, dog, and if you guys get ran over, you know, sorry, but not sorry, you know what I mean?
Speaking of like the paisano homies, how has it been like painting over there in TJ?
That's just dope, man. Fucking, to me, personally, it's like you're back in the 90s in LA, bro. Because you're looking over your shoulder, you know. LA, the blessing we got recently is that a lot of the police authority, they don't give a fuck about graffiti. Graffiti is nothing to them. So I seen a little comment on Instagram where, I actually take that back. I seen it on YouTube on our last video, on the DAF Krew video, where, you know, they said something along the lines of like, oh, the cops are all lax on graffiti, whatever, like it's easy to get up now. And then my whole thing is this: well, what are we supposed to do, dog? Not get up because the cops ain't tripping? Shit, this is the time where everybody should be getting up. If you're a writer from the 80s, you better come out and fucking do something. If you're from a crew still and you're still representing that shit, come out and help some of the boys out, you know what I mean? If you're from some of these 80s crews from LA and your boys are still active, come outside and fucking play with them and shit. Right now's the time. Maybe next year, maybe in a couple years, it's all gone and shit. But as of right now, we got to get on it, you know? So I think that, you know, painting in Mexico, back to the question, is dope. You know, shout out to my boy Hueco, my boy Besser out there, Mode from NBC. You know, he does a lot for graffiti out there. A lot of the dudes, Scream from NHD, DM, HOE. That fool's fucking, you know, he kills out there. So painting with those fools, like, shit, those fools fucking school me on it, you know? Like, these fools are really about it out there, you know? And Tijuana, especially, shout out to Tijuana. Un saludo, ya saben. Hasta allá hasta Tijuana, you know? And all, like, the homies from Zona Norte Familia, like, them fools get up, bro. Them fools fucking put in work out there, dog. They about their business, too, you know what I mean? ATC, fucking AWC. There's a lot of crews out there that catch wreck, dog. And it's dope, dog. Even just putting my little spot here out there, dog, to me, it was an accomplishment, dog, because that shit is, like, a step above, you know? Like, not everybody gets a chance to go out to Mexico and paint, dog, but I did it, dog, you know?
Yo, big shout out to the motherland, bro. Most definitely, bro. Paying homage, bro. Definitely, bro. Yo, we chilling with the one and only 160er, bro, here on Eyesore Radio. We gonna go to a quick little break. Yo, we in here. Let's go.
Yeah. Fuel, what up? Hood Vandals. Death, what up? Hey, yo, Tech. What's up, Wonder? Yo, Dino, what up? Yeah. Look. Calm before the storm, we taking steps through the rain. Yo, these colors never run, they outline around the name. Fill the spot clean, unintentional with the fame. You don't know what I'm going through, I'm capable of pain. Sleep for a piece, we resting for the energy. Life ain't but a moment, don't you turn into my enemy. We don't fake it, we just take it, we place it. High above the clouds, you can't tell that we faceless. All of you lames talking bullshit, fall like you cousins. Backpacking off our shit like all of a sudden. Ain't no time for rapping, but you loving, yo, to get down. Watch you faggots make a song now. Proof that you all clowns, we ball proud, we talk loud, we thuggin'. SoCal versus all you bums, yeah, you busy hugging. Making other tapes, speaking on the same topic. I pull out the messages that show you a slump trick. We don't recognize fakes, yo, this here is genuine. Busy being bitches, yeah, you stuck acting feminine. You already know we don't play, yeah, we grounded tight. We been up and down Cali, yeah, you know we stay outside. Eyesore Radio, communication proper. Shut you down, set up shop, build something harder. These is homebodies, yo, they speaking about weapons with no cases whatsoever. See, they teach you with no lessons. This is Santana, Orange County, Campana. Clock tower lets you know what time we on for the drama. Yo, we well connected. Texas, yo, they see us. Hawaii and New Zealand, Puebla, up to Tijuas. Best you stay clear, go and watch what you say. Acting tough around mascots, but won't drive outside of play. Make music safely, impossible to dissect. No substance, fake Nikes, that's a flight check. Center of attention, but we living in the South. And we moving with that culture, we engaging with the crowd. Run and tell your friends, yo, this shit is held down. Nothing you can do or say, boy, best you sit this one out. Time ain't money, it's the skill that we bless and test. Came from nothing, yet it's everything that we represent. Crime scenes, homicide vans, yellow tape around the area, body bag escape plan, underground voices, but we popping through the valles. Eyesore and Louis talk, mobbing for the calles. Yeah, you full time pues, ojalá que nunca faltes. Colores on the block, orgullo en el arte. Soldado when you know it, we ain't gotta show it. Damn right, you a rapper, entertained like a whole trick. This ain't competition, see how Louis talk. You fools speak on random shit like a movie plot. Running through the page like a female trying to set it off. Bunch of bitches out to do a man's job. Don't you interrupt the flow. This a pimp to a hoe. Get mad, get loud, try speaking real slow. You in the shadow cause you have no voice. Such a dreadful look, faggot, you ain't really got no choice. Biatch, they call me Louis boy.
Yo, 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 we back. We over here chilling with the big homie, big OG, triple OG, 160 year bro. What's up, man? How you feeling?
What's up, brother? Yeah, hell yeah, dog. We're right here, dog.
That's right, bro. Hey, man, let's jump straight into this, bro. Quick questions, bro. You know, being an OG, bro, being in this game for a while, bro, practically seeing it all, bro. What would you say, bro? Or you know what? Can you shoot me a do and a don't, bro, when you're stepping into the art scene, man?
Just one and one or what? Just one and one?
Hey, man, school the people, bro.
All right. So do have fun. All right. Do respect the game. Do put in work. You know what I mean? However you deem that shit, you know, your way of putting in work, do it. Do push yourself to your limits, not to everybody else's limits. You know, whatever you think you can do, go for it. You know, don't disrespect the game. You know, give the graffiti game its props. You know, it's been around longer than you probably have, and you know, at the end of the day, it's gonna be here after you're gone. You know, and that's the beauty of it. You know, so don't disrespect it. You know, don't listen to what the haters say. You know, like I said, you know, push yourself, accomplish some of your, you know, your bucket list. You know, I hear, you know, people that I look up to that are younger than me, and I hear them say shit like, you know, hitting the graffiti towers was like an accomplishment for them and shit. You know, like that makes me happy because that means that like as a man or as a human, like you set yourself a goal, whatever it is, like I said, you know, but in graffiti, that was the goal and they accomplished it, you know. Hitting a billboard, that's another accomplishment. So I feel like if, you know, don't listen to what other people say about you, you know what I'm saying? Don't copy nobody else's name, you know, and don't get mad if somebody has your name and they put in work, you know what I mean? And those are some of the do's and don'ts, you know. There's plenty more. I could probably fill up a whole YouTube video of that shit, you know.
Nothing but game, bro. Nothing but game, bro. That's right. Yo, 160, let me ask you this, bro. What inspires, what's like the inspiration behind your artwork, bro? Like, where does that come from?
I don't know, bro. You keep saying artwork. I don't call it artwork, dog. I would just say my inspiration to me is, damn, I don't know. That's a tricky question, you know. I don't know. Like, I don't really feel like that's like applicable to me because I just want to get up like other people are getting up, you know. And I think that, well, maybe you could call that an inspiration, you know. Like if I'm driving by somewhere and I see somebody putting in work, I guess it inspires me to say, I got to do it too, you know what I mean? So that's what it is, you know. If I see, especially people from my own crew, but people, in the scene that get up. And not to say that, like, I don't give you your props, I just feel like if you're challenging me, you know what I'm saying? So I got to go out and do it too, So.
Yo, bro, what's can I get your take on how you feel about beef, bro?
I don't know. Beef is a tricky subject, because some beef is good and some beef is not good. I mean, overall, all beef is not good, but I guess it gets the blood flowing, and it brings a lot of people out of retirement. It makes people fucking do the things that that they're good at, and that's what's good about it. But I think that the bad part is that even after the beef is squashed, there's still like a little bit of animosity. I know from my part, there's a lot of people out there that we bump heads with, and I'll never fuck with them again, or at all, and I'm not saying that if I see them it's on. I just figure that you stay over there and I'm over here, and that's that, dog. And you do what you do, whatever that is, and I do what I do, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing about beef, it's tricky. Some people really take it personal, and for some people beef is not good because they can't handle that shit, it drives them crazy, so they do things that they shouldn't do, like, for example, taking somebody's life for a fucking to cross you out or disrespect, when sooner or later that shit'll get buffed, it'll get covered somehow, so a lot of times that's the only downside of beef, so shout out to everybody that is able to squash beef, that shit takes a lot, so that's very respectable,
What advice would you give like young writers in regards to like getting in a crew or like even like starting a crew? What would you recommend they do?
Well, I think that getting into a crew is, like I said, it should be an accomplishment of sorts. For some people, if they take the graph game serious and they grew up looking at certain crews, certain writers, and to even be in the same room as them, or like to fucking share a beer with them, or fucking pass them their black book, that's like a lot, But if you aspire to be from that crew, whatever it takes, bro. If it takes for you to fucking hit fucking 10 billboards or fucking, Throwy Central, whatever, all up and down the streets, if that's what it takes for you to be from that crew that you've always wanted to be from, do it, bro. And if you start a crew, you gotta have love for that shit, dog, because you're gonna make that crew what it is. If you are 5 people that you grew up with that all love graffiti or, are down for each other, and you guys come up with a name, push that shit till fucking ever, and leave the next generation something to look up to, If you're going to put in work for that crew and you hand it off to somebody else, let them fucking look at it like, fuck, I got to live to their standard, and higher. So it's good, It's good for you to start your own crew, and it's good for you to join established crews, It's always good.
How do you balance like your regular life with your graffiti life?
I think you gotta have good hobbies. A lot of my homies, they like to go fish. Some of my homies, they like to chase tail, and that's a hobby too, A lot of my homies, they're good family men, which I look up to people like that. I admire them when they're good family men, and to me, I think that's the balance right there. That whatever else you got going outside of graffiti, complements your graffiti career, like just like you're willing to risk your life, risk your freedom for that spot, you got to be able to do that shit for the other thing that you love and you admire, so you got to try to have a good job, try to buy a car, try to keep a car, try to buy a house if that's what you want, or at least get an apartment, and get yourself, a good righteous girl or a guy if you're into that. Have some kids, and if you have kids and they live somewhere else, make an effort to spend time with them, shout out to all the single dads out there, dog. I see you guys, so I think that's the balance, me, myself, shit, I'm into a lot of things. I'm into lowriders, I'm into my kids, you know what I'm saying? So to me, like, that's what balances me, like spending time with my boys, spending time with my girl, going to car shows, going to work. I take pride in my work too, so you know what I'm saying. So that's one thing that you gotta balance it,
Yo, bro. Quality or quantity, bro?
Why not both? Fuck it, just do everything, but do a lot of it. If you're gonna do bombs, do fucking 100 of them. Like, stick to that. Like, I feel like if you're gonna hit trains and your goal is I'm only doing trains, do fucking as many trains as you can. If you're gonna, and do them nice. I mean, improve. Let us see the improvement, because I know for sure I go back to my beginning years, which some of you guys will never see, and that's good. I'm happy for that, because they're embarrassing. Even like last year's shit, I look at it and I say, fuck, I can't believe I was doing that shit. And even last week's shit, I feel like if maybe I didn't like the way it came out. So I think that quality is important, but I don't know. I guess it's a combination of quantity. Do more of it, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, bro, do you feel like or let me ask you this, bro. Like, can you be a like a good artist, bro, and still be considered a toy?
Absolutely. You could be the dopest fucking next Picasso, and you could have the worst fucking approach, the worst fucking mentality, and you could be negative, everything all around you, dog. So that's toy, because I mean, some things are toy, of course, right? But in the grand scheme of things, I think that some people get away with basic bombs, block letters, whatever, and it looks dope. It looks nice and crispy, fresh. So, and I see people that wild style, whatever, and when you meet them, they have the toy mentality, you know what I'm saying? So I think that yeah, that's what I think.
Yo, bro, when it comes to this game, bro, do you feel like money ruins shit, or do you think, hey, bro, you're able to make that paper by all means?
I don't know. I think that I give props to people that really like came into the culture with the mentality of just embracing it, and like for example, I'll give you guys an example. One thing that we benefit from is having people that were actual graffiti artists develop or create or have an input in the type of cans that we use today. For example, Loop, Montana, a lot of these cans that we use today, they were rooted in somebody that was a writer that knew like what we needed, So, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that fool's making money. Fuck yeah, that's tight. He had the idea, and it ain't about like, oh, I thought about it too. It's about who actually accomplished that shit, So that's dope in itself. I think what sucks is when there's people that never lived it, never really like, never really had a real career, like their foot in the game, and they come and they try to say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna podcast, I'm gonna make shirts, and the graph scene's gonna buy it. Like, bro, we don't know you. Like, who are you? Like, you're not established. You're not from a crew. Nobody fucks with you. Like, you didn't even do graffiti before you did this. So I think that's the bad part about it. But if you really got love for it and you're making money, fuck yeah, I'll support you, dog.
Would you feel like? Do you feel like graffiti has changed due to like social media in a good way or bad way?
In the last interview we did, I answered a little bit about it, and I got a lot of slack. I got a lot of heat because of it. But I think that it's changed. It's definitely changed. And we could see the benefit of it, because we're able to. Number one is see things that we wouldn't get a chance to see it, right? I could see graffiti in Japan right now if I wanted to, and that's dope in Brazil. As opposed to, we could do it before, but it was magazines or it was videos. Not everybody had access to that, Now, who doesn't have a smartphone, or who doesn't have access to a computer or tablet or something, right? YouTube, whatever, right? So I think that it's changed. It's definitely changed, sometimes for good and sometimes for bad. You see fools they fucking spaz out on social media because their video only got 80 likes, you know? And it's like, who gives a fuck, you know? It's your content that you're putting out there, and that's that, you know? Like, I see people like they're clout chasers. So they think like, hell yeah, you know, like I'm gonna collab with this page and this page and this page. This is Instagram, and I'm gonna get all these likes, you know, and I'm gonna get all these views. And I feel like this, like, if that's what you're doing graffiti for, then you're doing it for the wrong reason, you know? So that's the bad part about social media. But I know you guys understand me, you know? I know you guys see it happen. And if you don't agree with me, it's probably you're the one that does that type of shit, you know? you're probably the one that, you know, is a cloud chaser, you know? So I know people that are dope as fuck, dog. Like I said before, I look up to these gentlemen just because of the ethic that they have, the style that they have. And they barely got a social media, you know what I'm saying? So that lets you know that their graffiti is just graffiti. And thankfully for us, we get to see it now on their social media. Hopefully they start posting more.
Do you feel like people still follow the rules in graffiti?
Yeah, but I think rules are made to be broken, and then rules are made on the spot too, dog. So a lot of people have this like, oh, we're not in the 80s no more. I'm not a kid anymore. You know what I mean? So you can't be out here, little homie me. I don't do that shit to like younger people. So, you know what I mean? Your big homies are not my big homies. So I got my own big homies. So I feel like if, you know, my rules, if you make the rules, like, now I'm going to sit here and ask us, who told you to make the rules? Like, who are you to make rules, you know? So I feel like that, like, and don't hate me for breaking one of your rules, you know? So
is DAF like a lifetime commitment?
For me, it is. Shit, I got that shit tatted on me. So if you from the crew now, and if you're not thinking like I'm thinking, I'm 25 plus years in, you know? And even though I went away, I lived other lives, you know, with other people elsewhere. And I'm a man of many tastes, you know? So I like a little bit of this, I like a little bit of that. And, you know, maybe this might be the last year that I do graffiti for like another 10 years. I don't know, you know what I mean? But I feel like this, though, that me personally, I'm going to step right in because nobody tells me you're out, you're in, you're this, you're that, you know? So to me, number one, DAF is a big commitment to me. You know, my mom knows I'm from DAF. You know what I'm saying? I've named family members after that name. So you see what I'm saying? And not only me, but other homies or, you know, people from my family too, you know? So I feel like if to me it is. So.
Yo, my friend 160, bro. Any final thoughts, brother?
I mean, shout out to you guys for doing this shit. Like, this is dope. It's giving us a little platform to talk. Otherwise, people wouldn't hear that side of the story. We would just assume things, you know, like, oh, them fools are this or them fools are that. I mean, believe half of what they tell you and shit, you know, because, yeah, I mean, everybody, like, some people that kick it with us, they know how we really are, dog. So, you know, shout out to the people that really show us love, you know, and them fools, you know, they stand, you know, 10 toes down for us in any room, you know. They'll be like, oh, those fools are my homies, those fools are they're good people. So I think that final thoughts is, you know, thank you guys for that shit, and thank you guys for putting this shit on, you know. It's pretty dope and shit. I like that, you know.
Hell yeah, bro. Hey, bro, you got some shout outs, bro? Get some shout outs in, G.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Well, shout out to all my homies from my crew, first of all. You know, much love to you guys. I know we bump heads all day, every day. And if you guys your heart is really into it, then you guys know where I'm coming from and why I act the way I act or why I say what I say, you know. And shout out to the members of the crew that, you know, put the crew on their back when we had to, and you know, and made it to where it's at right now. I can't give myself that credit, you know. I could only take it so long, so that's why I shout out to them. We're a deep as fuck crew. We got history in LA, and even my big homies, I love to hear how they see us. They give us props, they show us love, and they might be out, they're older than me, they might be doing something else, you know, and they drive around the city and they see us up, and it makes me feel good knowing that we come from that stock, you know, from that side, you know. So and even wherever we sprouted up, you know, like I know a lot of the history of my crew, so even then, like wherever we sprouted up in the Southeast and East LA, in Huntington Park and Linwood, like we all have the same connection. Like somehow, some way, we're all connected, you know. And so shout out to you guys, you know. This interview is really for you guys, you know, shout out to my homies from other crews that show me love, you know, Jumex, Accentuate, you know, but yeah, Reno, my homies from OCP, fuck, you know, there's so many people right now that I could think of, and so if I miss you guys, you know what I'm saying, just know that it's all love. To the city, I just want to say a shout out to LA, because you know what I mean, you guys are the heartbeat, you know, and it really to us it's prideful for us to fucking tell everybody, the whole world, like this is what we're about, this is where we're from, you know, our colors, our fucking teams, our city, our skyscrapers, our fucking, even our bums, dog, even fucking Skid Row, you know what I'm saying? Like, even that shit is dope to me, you know? So shout out to the city, and all my homies that are in heaven, you know what I'm saying? All my homies, all dafters that passed away believing in this shit and putting in work for this shit, you know? And you guys, you know, you're always gonna be remembered, you know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing, you know, that we carry that shit, you know, forever, you know. And all the homies that weren't from my crew that passed away, that I had a lot of love for, my homie Reason, Burns from OCP, rest in peace, you know, Daver from GND, you know, my homie Triste from Echo Park, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the homies that passed away, dog, that, you know, they didn't make it to this year, so, you know, this one's for you guys, you know?
Hey, bro, rest in peace to everybody, bro. All the fallen soldiers, bro, 100%, bro. Yo, 160, bro. In the city of angels, bro, drugs aren't fun, bro. You know?
Drugs are fun or drugs aren't fun?
Hey, man, we chilling, bro, with the OG, triple OG, bro, 160, bro. It was a pleasure, bro, having you here, bro, blessing us with your time, bro, your stories, bro, your presence overall, bro, your knowledge and your game, bro. Definitely 100%, bro. Yo, we chilling over here, bro. This episode, bro, was brought to you by Santo Paso, Hood Vandals, bro, Eyesore Radio, bro. We in here, bro. Let's go.